All right, my man, state your name and let them know you on Real Talk with Nick.
What's going on, man? It's Styles, man. I'm on Real Talk with Nick, man.
All right, that's what's up, man. Are you a Nick fan?
I wouldn't say that, but I follow them.
You follow them?
Yeah.
And who are you most impressed with the Knicks?
I would go Randall. Even though he had a bad year last year, I would go Randall.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, last year he had took us to the 4th seed. You mean this year?
This year, this year, I mean, he had an off year, but
Yeah,
I like Randall. He come from L.A.
Yeah, what you like about his game, man?
Lefty, strong. Got an old school game. Bully ball, put the shoulder down, not afraid to get physical. Working on the jump. I see his progression, so that's why I like this game.
Yeah.
Good handle, fast.
What do you say to those who critiques Randall's game and say that he plays out position and he needs to stop acting like a point guard and stay in his lane and be a power forward? Like he turn over the rock too much.
Well, I'm not going to put that on him because I think that got to deal with a lot of the coaching staff trying to unlock him, same way they did with Giannis in Milwaukee. But he is undersized. He got short arms. So, I mean, with him, it's like he got a body of a 4, but he built like a 3. So I think he'll never have a position like Draymond Green.
Really?
He'll never have a position.
What you mean by that? He'll never have a position?
What's up, baby? All right.
What you mean by that? He'll never have a position?
Too small to be a 4, too slow to be a 3, and too short to be a 5. So you got to put him in a lineup where you got other players that could basically help out with his deficiencies. So Mitchell Robinson's good to have him if he's healthy. But
okay.
You need, like Mitch, big 7-foot center.
Speaking of Mitch, he's an unrestricted agent this summer during this off season. Do you think he's worthy of that extension contract, man? Or yeah, we gotta ask, man, because
if you could get him for a good price, yeah. I mean, if I'm to New York, I'm also looking at that kid on Phoenix with free agent DeAndre Ayton. I mean,
if I can get
Ayton, I let go of Mitch. If I can't get Ayton, I keep Mitch. That's how I do.
But you'll give up Mitch for Ayton?
Yeah, yeah.
So what Ayton has that Mitch doesn't possess?
Better scorer, better feel around the basket. Mitch look like he struggles around the basket a little bit, good at putbacks, offensive rebounds going back up. But Ayton just got a better touch, better feel. Now, he's not a great scorer down there, but he's better scorer down there than Mitch. So I would definitely go Ayton. And you get the same block production. You get the same rebound production.
Okay.
So
now I want to talk about my boy, R.J. Barrett, man. Was that your go-to guy, man, that you felt could represent New York? When we speak of the draft class between RJ, John Morant, Zion Williams, Cam Reddish, who do you thought was a better fit for the Knicks, man, during that draft class, man?
Be honest with you, I like RJ for the Knicks. Just because, for one, he want to play for New York. A lot of people don't want to play for New York. The media kill you here. So coming out of college, he said he didn't mind coming to New York. He actually wanted to come to New York and build a franchise. So when he said that, I'm like, okay, he's our guy. Because a lot of rookies don't talk like that. New York will fry you that first 2 years, and then you lost. You can ask Mark Sanchez about that. As far as comparison to other people that got drafted, I felt like when I watched him on Duke, because of that team he had, I never felt like you saw the best of him in college because he had to pass the ball to Cam Reddish and Zion. So I said, you know what, we might be getting a guy that we really don't know how good he is because he played a limited role. That's like Steph Curry when he got Clay in his whole team. As compared to when he by himself. You see a much better Steph than when he with the team. So I thought that was with RJ. But getting here, I think it's a confidence issue with him.
You still think
35
that?
one game, and they'll disappear for 2. Then they'll come back and give you 28. But I mean, and the thing I noticed the last 2 years, he gets hot at the end of the year. He need to start getting hot early. That's the problem in New York. They have slow starts and they finish okay. He got to get started early, and I blame coaching for that. I don't think it's a lot of sets drawn up for him when I'm watching him.
Now, speaking of coaching, man.
Oh God.
Oh man, you're not happy with Tom Thibodeau?
Old school guy in a new era.
You don't like Tom Thibodeau?
Old school guy in a new era. That hard-nosed defense he played,
right?
Him burning out his players. That's them days is over. These kids don't even play defense no more. So
But is defense needed, man?
In today's league, it looks like you would rather have more scoring than defenders. Most teams only got one defender, one good guy. Or they may play a good zone like Miami and Boston. But as far as him with that philosophy of grinding guys down 42 minutes a game, playing hard, now them days over, man. I think he's out of touch. Believe it or not, it happened to Phil Jackson. Older coaches getting out of touch, man. Greg Popovich even changed his game. So I think when it comes to Thibodeau, I'm not sold he can win. What has he won?
I mean, he has postseason success when you speak of him playing with Boston,
Right,
Chicago,
right.
and so forth. I mean, you know.
Let me give you an example. Look at how Monty Williams energized Phoenix. Perfect example. Look at Ime Udoka on Boston. Look at Brad Stevens when he was on Boston. And then look at Tom Thibodeau. And you'll see a big picture here. He's not an analytics guy. He's not a spacing guy. He's still an old school guy in a new league, man. Everybody, man, big men shooting threes from 40 feet today. So Tom, I don't think he's the coach for New York. I just don't. And them young kids, you got a younger roster. I think Tom is good with veterans. That's why everywhere he go, he always bring his veterans with him.
Yeah, he got Taj, he got Derrick Rose.
He don't even play young kids.
Now, speaking of that.
He don't even play young kids. Ask Cam Reddish.
Speaking of that, all right, you brought up Cam Reddish, man. Was you upset by that? Do you think it was another Kevin Knox situation? Do you think Cam Reddish is finding himself in a Kevin Knox situation under Tom Thibodeau?
That depends, because Knox, if you asking me my opinion, I never was sold on Knox. I was sold on Cam. I was never really sold on Knox. I felt like Knox was, I didn't see the it factor from Knox. Now with Cam, here's a guy that's a hell of a three-point shooter in college. Been a great three-point shooter when he came in the league. Long, play defense, got bounce, and could rebound. Why wouldn't you play that? You ain't getting that from Evan Fournier. You ain't getting that, you ain't really getting that from Quickly too much. Why wouldn't you play him? He's big. You need size along with Randall, like I said earlier. Why not? Why you? We got this mystery injury that you keep saying he got.
Speaking of who?
Cam Reddish. When he first got to New York, they wasn't playing him because I believe it was his ankle or something, but we didn't hear any updates about that.
So basically, in a nutshell, Tom Thibodeau, in your eyes, is not good with the youth.
No.
Now,
They even said it. A lot of players say it.
okay, I had an interview, right, who said, kill that noise about Tom Thibodeau not being good with the youth, because look what he did with Derrick Rose, who was the youngest MVP. What do you say to that? And that was under Tom Thibodeau umbrella.
That talent wasn't being coached. If you watch Derrick Rose was coming down, and those little possessions he was getting, he was maximizing. I don't blame coaching for that. Now, they did win 60 games. I will give you that. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. But like I said earlier, that was the old NBA. How you doing? That was the old NBA. That was what, early 2010s? Where people were still, the game was still being played off that old slow grind era. Remember the Steph Curry explosion they happened about 2013, 2014. So that team they had back then was great. But I'm talking about now, no.
No?
Great coach back then when the league was in that time. But the league is much more faster now, much more quicker, much more paced.
So defense is not needed in your eyes, man.
It is needed, but I don't think that
you need offense.
I don't think that should be his first emphasis as a coach. That's his first thing. That's his first emphasis. I don't think so. And he needs to put some assistant coaches around him that are young, understand a new game.
Whatever. If I ask you, do you think Tom Thibodeau would strive under assistant coach and Mike Woodson? Because Tom Thibodeau specializes in defense. Mike Woodson is the opposite. He's an offensive coach. If them two was to gel together, man, as far as the Knicks staff, you see success?
No.
Still wouldn't see success.
If you reverse the roles, I would love to have Mike as my main guy and Tom as my. If you flip the roles, yes, Mike.
As the head.
Mike is in Atlanta now, I believe, right?
Correct.
Look at Atlanta. Even though, like I said, this year I believe that Atlanta got affected by that rule change, with drawing those fouls on them crazy looking threes. It kind of messed them up a little bit. If you look the year before, Mike is proven when it comes to running good offenses, even on New York.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't seen a good Thibodeau offense since Chicago. Even when he was on Minnesota, we forget. He had a lot of talent. He had a big, a 2-guard, a point guard. He had everything he needed. What happened? They didn't make the playoffs.
And you put that on Tom
Mike
Thibodeau.
is the main, because I think Thibodeau's offensive schemes, their offensive sets are not dynamic enough for today. They're not. But Mike is up to speed. I would put Mike as my coach, and I would have assistant coach Thibodeau. The defense.
And you think we'll
It
strive
would
that?
work. The pairing could work. Change the role.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now I want to talk about point guards, man.
Yeah.
We all know the Knicks is in need of a point guard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Should we seek one in the draft, man? Or should we look for what's already in the NBA through picks, man?
I think you go for the draft. I think you want some fresh legs. You got a young team. Randall's still 27. I think Cam's 24, 25. Quickly's young. Even Mitchell young. So I think you want to go to the draft, get some young fresh legs.
And who would you like in the draft, man?
You said what type of point guard would I like?
Yeah, who would you like? You like that kid Avery? Everybody talking about?
Oh, you want a specific player?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Who do you think would be a good fit with the Knicks? Playing the point guard, man.
In general or
in
college?
general?
Oh, in general.
I'm talking about right now, man.
Oh,
The situation we need.
Now?
We in need of a point guard, which is the reason why Randall.
Man, that's tough, man.
I mean,
a lot of point guards locked up. A fit for that team right now. I know this is gonna sound crazy. It's only one. I know it's gonna sound crazy, but Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray,
Denver Nuggets. No, that's a crazy one there. But I watched Jamal's game. Jamal Murray, unselfish, can shoot, got handle, and play defense.
Yeah.
And he's got an upbeat attitude. Like Jamal not coming in there with an ego. Jamal not gonna walk through the arena like he a star. Easy to get along with other players. Easy to get along.
What about the guard from Dallas?
Luka?
Jalen Brunson, yes.
Not as your starter. Not right now. If you try and go to playoffs right now, no.
No?
No.
And I know you hear all this talk about Donovan Mitchell with some saying Emmanuel Quickly. No, ain't no some saying. This is a known fact. Emmanuel Quickly is hanging with Donovan Mitchell this offseason, man. Mm-hmm. Some say it's a sign that might lure him to the New York Knicks, man. Mm-hmm. Do you think that would be a good look? And if so, would that elevate certain players on the Knicks game, man? When you speak of that, or R.J. Barrett, man. Do you think R.J. Barrett would get more touches?
If you can get Donovan for giving up nothing, it's great. Because Donovan's 6'1". That's the only issue I got with Donovan. He's 6'1". When he came in the league, they said he was 6'3", but he's 6'1". Putting him at the 2-guard, we're going to have a problem here because you got an undersized power forward in Rand, and then you're going to have an undersized shooting guard in Donovan. In playoff time, that's going to be nasty for New York. So if we could get him without giving up anybody, yeah. But I don't see that happening.
You don't see that happening?
I don't. If you want to put asses in seats, we get Donovan. If you want to win, I might not go that way.
So you don't think Donovan would be the answer?
I'm not really sold on that you got to fix teams all the time by bringing in stars. If they allow Quickly, Toppin, and Reddish to develop together, that's why I say bring in a point guard like Murray and allow that core to develop, you'll be all right. But if you bring in somebody like Donovan right now, you're going to stunt somebody's growth. It's just how it goes. Donovan going to take 42 minutes a game. You're going to stunt somebody's growth. And the players that New York got, the young talent that New York has, is good talent, man. It's not just young kids. This is good talent. It just need to be molded. So if you could get him without giving up anything, I'm all for it. But I think he'd definitely be that scorer that New York desperately needs.
Okay, now I want to talk about McBride, who's in the G League. Some say, yo, that's your point guard right there. What is he doing in the G League, man? Bring him up.
Who sent him
develop
down?
them.
Who sent him down?
Tom Thibodeau, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm just saying. I'm just asking you, brother. Who sent him down? How he known we're doing for young kids. You know how he is with doing with young talent, man. He don't play them. He don't play them. See, I was looking at McBride, 6'5", I believe, 6'4", 6'5", I believe, about 198 pounds. I was definitely looking at him. But that just go back to the Thibodeau question. I do know about McBride. I think he could be the guy if he would have been playing in some tough situation. Just throw him in there garbage time his rookie year. They ain't even do that with him, so I don't even know if he the guy right now. And get them looks.
Now you seen the Knicks at the end of the season. Some say was doing it was on a little streak.
So you always at the end, they step up. At the, certain way, I think when there's no pressure on them.
That's what you think it is.
Come on, man. Everybody know New York was looking at them this year to take this. Everybody know New York was looking at them. I was looking at them. Okay, you got Kemba, you got Fournier. You kept that roster that you got. Man, you good to go.
Now, speaking of Kemba,
good to go.
You heard about Kemba.
Rice High School. Shout out to Kemba.
Yeah, shout out to you, Kemba. And he was from around my way in the Bronx, from Monroe Projects. He lived right across the street down the block. So when we speak of Kemba, New York native, man, it didn't work out the way we expected it. You know what I'm saying? Some say it was a bad pickup from the gate. Kemba legs are gone. I mean, some say he wasn't gelling with Randall. I mean, what's your input on that, man? When we speak of that,
I think a lot of times with a lot of teams, I'm gonna use other examples before I answer your question. Miami the first year. You know, you put them together, it might not just click instantly. And a lot of times people want instant success because a lot of pressure on GMs and coaches for them to win with that team they put together, their ass is grass. It's not enough time for them dudes to play and develop together. The problem with Kemba, what messed him up was analytics. Somebody with the analysts, oh, when he's on the court, they play like this, and when he's off the court, he plays like that. Yeah, but you got to get him to know. He never played with none of them dudes on that team before. None of them. Ain't none of them his old road dogs. So it wasn't enough time to see what's really going on. They gave him a 2-year deal. Let him at least play.
Right.
At least give him the first year as a try. Give him a 2-year deal. It ain't like it's a 1-year deal where it's like, okay, we got to do something to go. Also, you know what you was getting when you got him. Everybody know what Kemba is. Not a great three-point shooter, not great defensively. He's a slasher. He gets to the rim. Those type of players age fast, so the writing was on the wall. I don't think nobody could blame nobody but whoever signed him.
Damn.
I'm just saying, I'm going to keep it 100.
Damn.
I mean, guys like that, little guys, 6'1", twitchy, explosive with their feet, don't last long. He fits in that category. He's a side-to-side dribbler. Once you lose a little bit of speed, a gain a little bit of weight, that's your game over.
Game over. And when I speak of that, of Jericho Sims, man, and Evan Fournier, man, who should start and who should go in the backcourt when we speak of these two players, man?
You said Jericho Sims and who else?
Evan Fournier.
I like Jericho Sims. Evan don't get along with the team.
Why you say that?
Fournier? Fournier had a lot of rumbling this year with players. Randall, he got into it with Randall. He got into it with Kemba for a little bit. And I think he's liked by the coach, so he's alienating other players. A lot of reports came out about him. Yeah, you always looking up on the court, he's scowling. You look at the huddle, he's over there.
Wow, I'm surprised you calling Evan Fournier out because
great player though. Don't get it twisted. Now I love that boy. He can shoot. The boy play defense. He's a professional, but fits. You know what I mean?
I'm surprised you calling him out and not Randall when we speak of that of
you ain't
demeanor.
You ain't asking me.
Okay, wait, bro. Come on, bro. No, you good. So you know. So with that being said, with that, right?
Right.
You said Randall, right? You calling out Evan Fournier over Randall.
You want me to get on Randall?
I mean, what about his attitude,
When
man?
you got that money, once you got that money, it's like you are Anthony Davis now. Once you got that money, you don't want to play no more. It's an old saying in boxing, it's hard to do road work when you wake up with silk pajamas on. Once you're a bad guy, you got to watch him that year. Because it's life-changing. Bigger house, more money, bigger jewelry, and the ego got him.
So that's what you think it was with Randall?
It's my team. Look what I did. I took y'all to playoffs last year. What was he? Most improved last year.
Right.
He came in this year with an ego. He didn't come in last year like that because the first year that he got there with the Knicks, he stank.
Right.
So year 2, okay, let me get my act together. Got your act together. Now year
got
3, got paid. Now you like, I ain't got to play. I got to just show up. You ain't that good. You ain't Michael and Kobe. You ain't that good. So that's with him. And as the leader, A lot of childish things, pouting, not running down the court after the turnover. Um, um, you're constantly dribbling in double teams. You're shooting contested shots. Mentally, he thinks he's somebody he's not watching his game. I'm just saying. I'm getting a lot of Kevin Durant from you, and you ain't that guy. Some of them shots you taking, and Fournier's open. Some of these shots.
So you say you getting a lot of.
It starts with him.
You say Julius Randle think he's Kevin Durant.
He giving me you ain't that good of a scorer to just think you can pull like that, man. That's all, man. And I'm watching. Look at the efficiency. Look at the shots he's taking. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable, man.
Right,
I mean,
man.
He used to play with Kobe, so who knows? But,
oh man. And as far as Emmanuel quickly, man, let's say the Knicks don't go for a point guard. Do you think Emmanuel quickly can be developed into an elite point guard?
It depends on how quickly want to go about it. Do he feel like he's a starter, or do he feel like he come off the bench and contribute? I believe that if you get a better point guard and you got him as your sixth man, that's a great option as a sixth man. Quick, could shoot, could pass the ball, know how to play the passing lanes. But I got Quickly as a great backup if he accept that role.
Okay. And just the nail in the coffin, man. My boy Obi Toppin.
Love him. Love him.
Now, he played the same position as my boy Julius Randle. Due to Julius Randle's attitude and lack of playing, some say, what do we need with Randle when you got Obi? You re-sign Randle, and some think that we might lose Obi in the mix. How do you feel about that, man? You think we in a risk of losing Obi, being that Julius Randle is going to come back with us?
It's a big possibility, and I think that's why New York plays with Toppin's minutes, because if the more you play him and the more he show the league what he able to do, somebody else going to pay him. So it's a little tactic they did, like same thing New York, the Lakers did with this kid Talon Horton Tucker. So they won't play you that much so they could keep you for cheaper. But if I would keep Toppin. I mean, well, we got Randle locked in, so it's hard. I mean, you're going to have to let him go. But I think that's the price you're going to pay for overpaying Randle, giving Randle that money. But in my opinion, I like Toppin better, more energy, runs the floor, plays above the rim, not scared on defense. But like you said, they play the same position, and they're not interchangeable. So I think somebody's got to go. I prefer it to be Julius than Toppin, to be honest with you.
All right, man, that's what it is, man. Listen, I want to thank my man coming on Real Talk with Nick, expressing himself, man, when we come to these orange and blue.
Love him.
Love him. You got to love him, man. But you know what? I was going to close out, man, but let's put a little cherry on top, man. Do you think it's laughable with the situation with the Brooklyn Nets, man?
Yes.
When we speak of KD and Blake, Kyrie Irving, and all these disappointed Knicks fans who went over there thinking they was going to be the savior of New York.
Yeah.
Just to come to find out, we see him and get brooms handed to him. And now that the Nets is mad at Kyrie, KD hasn't spoken to the Nets front office. What do that say about KD? Is his heart in the right place? Didn't he didn't come to the Knicks because he was scared? How you feel about that before we close out? This is it, baby.
I'm going to go back and piggyback off Charles Barkley. Bus rider and bus driver. KD is a great one. He's probably the greatest bus rider of all time. It's going back as far as you're saying about Brooklyn being laughable. Yes, ever since they became Brooklyn, they've been laughable. DeRon Williams, when they signed Paul Pierce, when they signed Kevin Garnett, they've been trying to put teams together. That's not how you win. That's not how you win. They just keep adding names. Let them keep doing it. Let them keep doing it. All they keep doing is adding names. And I think that's what's going to New York going to get blessed at the end of this, man.
And that's what we waiting for.
New York going to get blessed,
we
man.
waiting for them blessings, man. Peace.